So guys, so far we have seen how we are able to create the components with the help of the GitHub Copilot. And we have also seen in a previous video that like how we are going to make a use of the prompts over here to put our questions properly so that we can generate the code. Now, there are some other important things also that we need while working with the Angular. That, like, one of the thing over here is that how we are gonna generate an Angular service, which is gonna perform an HTTP call. So, if you see that in our code, I already have the models folder, and there the code for the customer interface or customer model that has been generated. Now what I want to do is that I want to make a use of this customer model in an Angular service to perform an HTTP calls, right, to the remote repository. Maybe the remote repository already exists and then we want to make a call to it to perform the necessary operations. So how we are going to add the question? So here I already have a kind of a sample here, right, where say that can we generate a code for Angular service for HTTP operations using, and then I want to use this file here. Okay, that is my customer model. So we do have the hash reference where we can refer the file, and then we can use that file or the content of the file. We can ask the GitHub Copilot to make a use of the content of that file to generate the code. So I'm again going to go back over here and then I'll say that can you generate a code for Angular service, right, using the model from the file. So now I'm going to say hash here, okay, and then I'm going to select the file, right. So okay, hash, I'm going to pick the file. So here we have the file, right. Let me do it again, file, and then I'm going to select that app.customer model. So see here it's there. So I'll say that select the file app.customer.model.ts. So my question is that can you generate a code for Angular service using the model from file to perform HTTP operations? Okay, so this is what my prompt is. Let me press enter, and this is what the code is being generated. So we have the HTTP client and then HTTP GET post, and here it's also saying that okay, put your URL, okay, and then here it is having the GET call, post call, right, put, delete, okay, all these things are there, right. It's also using the observable, right. So that's the thing. Here I do have an option over here that I can have this insert into new file. Okay, so what I can do is that I can go to the command prompt again, or I can add a new file here into my project by using folders. I'm going to create a folder here called as services, and in this I'm going to add the file app.customer.http service, right, customer.http.service.ts, right, and then again I'm going to go here and I'll say that okay, apply in an editor. So let's see what it does. So this is how that it's been added into app.http app.customer.http.service, and of course then like I'm gonna modify this. I'll say dot slash models slash here, okay, and then like we can have the necessary placeholder stuff over there. Okay, we can actually do that. Okay, so this is how that we can also generate the service file here. Okay, the code for the Angular service for performing an HTTP operations. Again, you must be knowing that how the Angular service is created, or what is the observable and what is this HTTP client and all that. You must be knowing about that. Now let me go here to the code, and then here I do have a customer list here, and then this is what my customer class. So now I'm gonna say here that can you modify the code in right file. Okay, I'll say here right. So sometimes it takes time. Okay. Right. I'll say here right. It's right. I'll say that modify the code in customer list component to inject the customer HTTP customer service in it. And then let me enter it. So this is detecting the customer list component right over there, and it is also giving me the code over there to basically have the injection right, and it is also giving me the method call over there. Okay, so now here I'm gonna say apply in an editor, or I can say here that inside the terminal. So I'm gonna say clicking here, and then this is supposed to be applied over there into the editor. So have a look over here that like this is what is it. So better I'm gonna go over here, I'll remove the previous code, then I'm gonna right get this right. Of course, what is supposed to be done over here is that like I'm gonna say right dot slash I'll have services, this is it. Okay, so this is how that we are able to have the service code generated, as well as injecting the service in the component, right? We can do that. Now this is my Angular 17. I'm gonna go here to the code, right? I'm gonna open the app.config.ts, and this is where that I want the like service or HTTP registration has to be generated. So like if you are working with an Angular 17, then we know that like we can simply say provide okay HTTP client, and then like we can very well write here this is going to register the HTTP client, right? So even we can also add the line for this code, but this is pretty simple. Okay, so this is the way that like how we can use the GitHub Copilot for generating the code for the Angular service, and then using that in our component, right? So this is the way that how you can make a use of the GitHub Copilot for Angular applications also. Again, the point of caution, you should be knowing the Angular technology. Thank you very much, guys.